Will Russia disintegrate? This topic is on the minds of a lot of people. Someone wants it to fall apart and someone don't. What is sure is that Khodorkovsky wants it to fall apart. The man Putin jailed in 2004 and today is in the West and is one of few influential Russians that wants it to fall apart and, ironically, wants to blame Putin for that. But what will really happen? So let's go back in history and see what factors led the Soviet Union to fall apart, because Russia is just a minimized Soviet Union with republics, kreis, and oblasts. Okay, so the factors that led to the collapse of the Soviet Union are: first, economic instability that led to shortage of food, and second, the rise of nationalism. And when I say that, I also mean the rise of Russian nationalism, which sounds weird, but hear me out. Okay? So the rise of the Russian nationalism was fueled by economic instability. And as I said, the shortage of food, which was result of a poor economic policy and resource management that poured resources in the military-industrial complex, and the other sectors were underfinanced, including the factories and agricultural farms that produced food. The important thing here is that the Russian nationalism was reflected through one man, and that man was Boris Yeltsin, the man who really broke apart the Soviet Union, and not Mikhail Gorbachev, as many say. Boris Yeltsin was a liberal and wanted to create a new Russia, an independent one, that will be prosperous and not hungry. The problem was that he was also a Russian nationalist and didn't care for the territorial integrity of the Soviet Union. In short, this is what happened. On 29 May 1990, he was elected chairman of the Supreme Soviet of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, although Gorbachev personally pleaded with the Russian deputies not to select Yeltsin. A part of this power struggle was the opposition between the power structures of the Soviet Union and the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic. In an attempt to gain more power, on 12 June 1990, the Congress of People's Deputies of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic adopted a declaration of sovereignty. On 12 July 1990, Yeltsin resigned from the CPSU in a dramatic speech before party members at the 28th Congress of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, some of whom responded by shouting, "Shame!" As you can see, that power struggle led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. And as far as I'm concerned, Russian states collapse when there is a man in Moscow that wants that territory to fall apart. That is true for the Russian Empire also. That was in existence before the Soviet Union, when Lenin broke it apart, and also for the Soviet Union, when Yeltsin broke it apart. So the question is, will there be a man in Moscow that wants to disintegrate Russia? The question seems easy, but it's not. Will Khodorkovsky come to power or not? Will there be another Khodorkovsky? I believe that the possibility of Russia disintegrating is smaller than the case of the Soviet Union, because there is simply many more Russians in Russia than there were in the Soviet Union. If you understand what I mean. So except for a few republics, the Russian people are majority in all the regions of Russia. We can also discard the main factor, and that is the Russian nationalism. And with Putin firmly in the Kremlin for a few more years, I just don't believe he will let Russia to be run by someone who wants it to fall apart, and surely not Khodorkovsky. So yeah, the possibility of Russia disintegrating in the future is slim. And that is for today's video, guys. Thank you for your attention, and push that subscribe button for more content like this.